growing up, yeah. This is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wants, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they ain't never had one day. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This one's for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, June 18th, 2025 for episode number 168? And David, we have you for week number 2 in a row.
Yes, and you won't have me next week because I
No.
won't. But it's very nice to be here, especially with our guest tonight.
Yes. So the schedule is flipped, but we won't have you next week, but that's okay. We will make do. We have made do, even though it brings a tear. Hello to everybody in the chat. We appreciate all of you who have said hello so far. Just want to say hello back. So before we get to the fun stuff, let's get through our normal little preamble here. Whether you're watching from Rumble, X, Kick, Facebook, YouTube, thank you very much. Make sure you do your due diligence. Like, share, follow, all that good stuff. And if you're listening to this later via podcast form, make sure you give us a 5-star rating. Otherwise, we will send David's little drawing of Death the Kid over there after you. And we will make sure that we beat you into 5 stars. But no, thank you for listening over there as well. Dave, last week we had a fun show. We talked to Mike Termott, the 2024 Libertarian Vice Presidential candidate and newest member of the Republican Liberty Caucus. And we had a really good show, a very fun, spirited debate over the role of, smaller federal appellate judges and things like that.
Nothing we'll be talking about tonight. Completely
no
different.
politics. It's going to be very no politics tonight. So with that quick caveat, I just want to give a quick aside, Dave, about real quick, Israel-Iran. Don't be that person that goes and believes the hyper for Israel or hyper against Israel. You can, don't get me wrong, but don't get caught up in that bullshit. For, our audience, I feel like most of our audience, like, you guys are not stupid, okay? All of you, you're not dumb. You can differentiate when it's time to go to war, when it isn't, when it's time to support Israel, when it isn't, blah, 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 right? So please, for the love of God, there are so many people on X just trying to grift, just trying to push one way or the other. Just be smart, differentiate. And if you want, Dave, you know my method when it comes to these things. I tend to believe anything that comes out of Iran, 0%. Anything that comes out of Israel, maybe 5%. It's war, y'all. They're all going to try and get you to their side. So just honestly, be very discerning about what it is you decide to believe. And just be smart about it. We have Mark Taylor coming in. What's up, Mark? Saying I'm against people dying from every country. I agree with that. Generally, I agree with that. But I'm also not the type of person that's going to throw my head in the sand. Sometimes you do need to go to war. I'll say this right now. America does not have to be involved, even though it looks like we're about to really get involved. So I digress. That's all I wanted to say, because this isn't going to be a very politic-heavy thing. So let's jump in. Let's bring our guest in, because we are excited to have this individual on.
Yes.
He is Master of the TDS. He is the co-host of Gothic Therapy. Cannot speak. And I called him a YouTube deep dive extraordinaire, because that's what he is. He has a bunch of fun deep dives. Master of the TDS, what's going on?
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And that title's actually pretty accurate, I would say. So
yeah, deep, like, honestly, like, you are absolutely a deep dive extraordinaire. It's what you do. You're really good at it. And you have been, I'd say, incredibly important during Gamergate 2, which is what's still going on. Gamergate 2 is not over.
I don't know if I like the name for that anymore, to be quite honest with you.
It's what it is. I
It's
hate
like
putting
the
gate
fir-
at
the
the end of
first-
everything.
The first
but it's what it
Gamergate
is.
also kind of basically lost, so I don't know. I don't love it. But either way, but you have been very important throughout, not just gaming space, but even in the movie space. And we'll go over some of that later in the show. But
I try.
yeah, happy to have you on.
Nate G coming in and saying real quick, Iran's been a magical country. It's been days away from a nuke since 1992. The only pushback I'll do against that is maybe they have been, and maybe the things that we have been doing have been working and stopping them and delaying them. No one's bringing that up. Just throwing that out real quick. Anyway, I'm not pining for either side, though. I hate the world right now because gas prices are going up. Anyway, Master of the TDS. Number one, we're going to get this out of the way. I know you're asked this all the time. Why do you hate Donald Trump?
Well, I don't. People get confused by this. It's actually quite a funny story because I used to do content way, like, I guess it's almost 8 years ago now, on the channel that is now Gothic Therapy, used to be Master of the TDS. Now, why that name? Well, I used to do Yu-Gi-Oh content. That's kind of was a passion. It was not like the driving passion for my life, but it was something that I put down, I came back to. And one of those times when I kind of came back to it, I was kind of like, oh, I really want to, do something with that. And I was like, okay, people do this online now, whatever. So I started uploading things and I was like, okay, what is my name going to be? And I'm like, okay, well, I like this card, the Total Defense Shogun, because it's like he can attack from defense mode. And he's the only card that can do that. So it's like, oh, defense is the best offense. I like that. That kind of works with me. And there was a trend, I think, back then to kind of do longer names for stuff. So like, especially like a Yugi tubers, which is what they call themselves, used to do like, there was like Asian Eyes White Dragon and like whatever. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to be? I'm going to be the master of the Total Defense Shogun because that's what I want to be. So to make it short, I'm going to be master of the Total Defense Shogun, TDS. Little did I know that years later, the TDS would mean something much, much different.
Yep.
That's
very
incredible.
unfortunate, especially because of how like Yu-Gi-Oh! Still, I would consider a niche market comparatively to other card games and everything. So, like, especially consider the amount of people that actually know Yu-Gi-Oh! And would know Total Defense Shogun. Just very unfortunate the way things worked out.
Yeah, it is what it is. I've kind of owned it to some degree. Like, there'd be times where someone posts, like, oh, this person's like TDS, whatever. And I will comment, be like, I did not approve this. Or I have no opinion. Don't drag me in here. Like I'm willing to do that, be like, okay, I know it's a joke, but I try to clarify it as much as I can because I'm sure there are people out there who have been like, oh, he can't follow that guy. He's clearly that. And it's like,
it's unfortunate.
One of our mods, the Proctophiles in the chat, he says, I have to show you guys the Shogun hat. Let's see if I can still have it. There you go.
Yes!
Oh, that's perfect. I love that.
You're going to keep that on now.
No, I'm not.
So
here,
I gotta
look,
say
this is more appropriate for Detective Hat.
Yes.
No?
Oh, I do like
it is
that.
more appropriate. Also, I do want to say this real quick.
No, real quick.
You fixed it.
No, stop it. I did fix it. It auto-corrected me to that, and I was like, I guess so. I wrote it correctly at first.
I am pressing
and then
X
it
right now.
auto-corrected me. Listen, I have an Android, so I'm convinced it might be stupid. But no, it did auto-correct me. I had it initially, and then it said no, so I am going to fix it. Thank you. So John Coman, which is too close to John Cornyn for my liking, saying, I'm sorry, I'm not messing with you, but saying he doesn't hate Trump unsubbing. So yes.
Yeah, John's a regular in our streams. So
I love it. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, that you are a giant leftist Trump hater, we are going to move on to the meat and potatoes of the show because Dave and I have found ourselves much more on the side of entertainment lately, and I'm really liking this space. That we're talking to a lot of people in gaming and movies and TV and stuff. So we're going to start off first in the TV space. Marvel is a shit show. Marvel has been a shit show for a while, and there seem to be getting worse. So Ironheart, is it out yet? I don't even know if it's out yet.
It'll be out next week.
I was going to say, I know it's out soon.
It'll be out next week. How do we feel about Ironheart and its chances of getting like any viewership at all?
None. I have Well, to be fair, I'm going to be completely honest. I am super biased against this character because my favorite character is Iron Man, and I read the Ironheart comics, despite what people on Twitter want people to believe that I don't read anything, whatever. I have read the Ironheart comics. I did not like them. They were boring. They were bad. And so I really despise this character, and I think that it's a shame that they couldn't have, I don't know, in the MCU decided to make her not the character that failed in the comics. It's like, hey, we have an opportunity, a second chance. Let's not do that. And it's like, no. Let's do it again.
And the worst part is too, it's like Ironheart was a part of that new wave in Marvel that was the answer to the New 52 in DC, which absolutely fucking sucked. So it's like when DC started the New 52 and it was going downhill, Marvel's like, hey, how can we make it even worse? Let's start bringing in our own shitty characters and kind of reimagining things. And Ironheart's the product. And Ironheart, again, was not a good comic book character. And it seems to be like Marvel is really been going this way, where it's like unsuccessful comic book character, let's bring them in. And I just don't, again, there's nothing to understand. These people don't like comics. They don't read comics, but it's just the message.
Mephisto is probably going to be in it. Aren't you excited? You get to finally see Mephisto in Ironheart. Of all places, you get to finally see Mephisto.
I'm more worried there's another character that they've hinted at that I'm very concerned about, because they keep saying she's not going to be a replacement for Tony. She's not going to be a replacement for Tony. And then they keep bringing up Robert Downey Jr. to go, look, I love this show. Please watch. And it's like
of RDJ putting a heart and everything.
Yeah, but there's a character they've hinted at, and I think that if he's actually in the show, which it looks like he will be, again, you're continuing to say that it's not about, Tony, but if this character's in the show, then it 100% is about Tony, so.
The question, so it's probably, is it going to be Pepper Potts?
No, it's going to be, do you probably remember the Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man?
Yes.
Well, he had a son named Ezekiel Stane, and Ezekiel Stane was different because what he would do is, instead of making suits, he would upgrade his body. So he'd incorporate Iron Man technology into his body. And we see in one of the recent trailers a flash of a minute from like this guy with like things embedded in his arms. And if you look at the picture and you look at a picture of Ezekiel Stane, they look kind of similar.
That is, and the thing is, it's all what they're trying to do, and what they've been trying to do is it's all member berries, right? That's all it is. And it's like, hey, remember this character? Well, now here's this one. And it's like, it's just disheartening because David knows I've been a Marvel fan forever, and I've been very much Marvel over DC in a lot of ways. Like, even though I love Batman, I think Batman's awesome. Nightwing's one of my favorite superheroes of all time, but I just has always been more into the Marvel camp, and I have nothing against DC fans, but just to see them sitting there and squandering everything that they have made all for the message is awful. So John Coleman comes in and asks, is Ironheart a show or a movie? I seriously don't know.
It's a good thing you don't know. Honestly, Ironheart was basically only made for YouTubers to make money off of. It's not for Marvel or Disney to make money off of. It's for YouTubers.
To answer him, though, both, actually.
Oh, are they making it into a movie?
No, you don't know.
It started as a movie, right?
You don't know the origin of Ironheart?
I haven't paid attention to any, like, honestly, the most information I get is if I catch like something from you on like X or something, or if I capture like, if I watch like some G&G or some Nerdrotic, I try not to. Marvel.
Ironheart, well, her comic origin is cringe. She basically demands that a teacher victimize her, and then whatever. That's cringe enough. But
oh my God,
the Ironheart existed before Disney. Marvel created the character. I believe it was in Japan. They made a certain movie
I saw
that is of a character named Ironheart, and it's meant to be like a parody of Iron Man, but it's a not safe for work kind of movie. Yeah. And
incredible.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Make sure that anybody who looks up Ironheart stuff, all the kids going online, like they'll just find that. That's a great idea.
Well, yeah, it's like go look up whitehouse.com right now.
I found Ironheart for free. Oh my goodness, I could watch it, and then they stumble onto the wrong thing.
Oh my
That's
God.
gonna
The
be
thing
rough.
is, I'm not going to do the take one for the team for this because I'm not doing that. Even if I am a therapist and have seen much worse, but like the question I would have is which is better? Like
I
when you compare the two,
I think it might
once
be
the
an
show's
obvious
done.
choice.
I think there's an obvious answer to that.
Story
One
writing is
actually,
probably gonna be obviously
put a
better.
little bit effort into it. The other one just made slop for people to grab onto. And that's
Yeah.
honestly, anyone could decide which is which there. So real quick, a few more comments. Random acts of animation. Hey, Master of the TDS is here. Hey, dude. So
Hello.
the Proctophile jumping in, but Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto, that's a choice. I mean, I will say that Sacha Baron Cohen is more talented than people give him credit for. I used to love the Ollie G show. But yeah, no, he shouldn't be Mephisto.
I really hope he is though, because we haven't confirmed it yet. He's listed as Mephisto and he's listed as part of the
I didn't
cast.
know
We
if
don't
it
know
was
for
confirmed.
certain. We haven't seen any footage, but I would love it because I'm just imagining the memes that we could make with him as like Borat, being
Yeah.
like, "We did not give gun to Iron to a female. We don't give Iron Man suit to female. It's like giving a gun to a monkey."
And what's crazy is he could be a
be
really
right.
good Mephisto and nobody's gonna care.
It
Because
doesn't
it'll just
matter.
all be
Why
for the
in this
games.
show?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Why
agreed.
why is Riri Williams now going to have a magic suit? There's going to be so much going on.
Well, it's magic because if she's magic, she's not like Iron Man. Except
Yep.
except the promo, one of her promos today, her first line was literally, "I want to carry on Tony's legacy." It's like I thought she wasn't Iron Man.
Yeah, it's
Make
like-
up your mind. If you're gonna drag the corpse of Tony Stark around for clout, you should at least commit to it.
So on a scale of 1 to every single episode multiple times, how many Iron Man flashbacks are we going to get to pad it? I think we're going to get a
or
ton.
references at least.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to be honest. I don't know if they even have the ability to do that. I'm sure he'll get a flashback like once or twice or something. Maybe they'll like throw him in, like make it like, oh, they've met before. Winkety wink wink.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I've been told this, and again, it's been confirmed by multiple sources. I've had some sources on the inside that it basically said that they've been trying for years to get this show not to be aired, but they're contractually obligated
That
to. So they literally are just like, here, take it, and
It's like
gone
Echo.
now.
It's like Echo all over again, where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is a really bad one. We're just gonna let this
Yeah,
go.
but according to what I've heard, and I think Neurotic mentioned this as well, or whatever, that apparently, according to people who have seen it, they say it is the worst thing that Marvel has made.
And that is like
That's
the low bar
impressive.
because everything that comes out is like the worst. And my real question is, and I want you to do a deep dive into this. How much has Gary and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers paid Marvel to continue to make these so that they can continue to make a ton of money off the content?
I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll consider it.
Because follow the money. They wouldn't be making these unless Gary's like, listen, I need your content's amazing for me. Here's a little on the side. Keep making them.
Great.
And that is going to be saying there, oh, no one YouTuber accuses Nerdrotic of things, but that's okay. Real quick, a few going on here. Random acts of animation. Nobody's going to watch this show. Only people making content off it will watch, which gets into my theory that Jeremy and Gary are funding it. John Coleman asking, is that Satan Stain? Maybe. I think that's Satan. Nate G, Ironheart started by winning RuPaul's Drag Race.
It's a
Yeah,
different
aren't you excited to see the character in the show? It's from RuPaul's Drag. You know what the
Yes.
name of the character is?
No, what's the name?
I forgot.
Slug.
Yeah.
I kid you not. I am not lying. The name is Slug.
I always love that these like racist leftists actually don't hide it ever.
It's like
They
I
don't.
you're bringing in like a drag star. That's weird, but it's like, oh, the code name Slug.
That's so good.
So it's like Relooted coming out.
Random acts of animation. Boobies, does the Asian Ironheart have boobies in it? You know what? Random acts of animation. Report back to us. All right.
I would
Most
assume.
likely
I would
it
assume
does.
the answer to that is yes. But
If it doesn't, then it really will be a disappointment of what
well,
that
to be
movie
fair,
is
it will
doing.
probably still be better than the show.
That is true.
That is very true. Proctophile Black Girl Magic was supposed to be a joke, not a reoccurring thing. I mean, Disney failed at it with Star Wars. Might as well fail at it with friggin'
The fact that
Marvel.
we had to witness Sam Jackson saying that is very,
He's
very
lost so
annoying.
much clout. It's sad.
It hurts.
It is sad. Random acts of animation. If she has to use a suit in magic, she's nowhere close to Iron Man's Riz. I'm sad that I said Riz on this channel. Random acts of animation. What did you make me do? I will not say
Yeah, you
Riz.
fucked up. You're way too
No.
old to say that.
I
We
am.
have confirmation that apparently it does. That the other Ironheart thing does apparently show.
Proctophile, I'm proud of you.
He's like, let me just look this up real quick.
I hope you did it in incognito mode. Anyway.
And so probably just go to Google Images and just look up Ironheart Japan movie, and you'll just see him immediately.
So let's get away from the negative a little. Let's go into the positive, or what can be positive. Okay. The new Superman, for all intents and purposes, I still actually plan on going to see it in the movie theater. Nothing I have seen has deterred me to the point where I don't want to see it. Super shit, definitely hashtag super shit, gives me questions, but overall, I like the bright facade. I like some of the action, looks pretty good. Master of the TDS, will you be going to see Superman as long as it keeps on this trajectory here?
So I'm going to be honest. I've always been. I don't dislike Superman or don't dislike like any of these like DC things, but like I've just never been as invested as I was with Marvel. I think I
Agreed.
tried to. I saw Man of Steel. I saw Batman versus Superman, and was like, "What is this?" and turned it off like a couple minutes into it. But like, I'm always open to there being a good movie, and I liked the most recent trailer of Superman that I saw because it was better. I think leading with 2 trailers where literally for like most of it he just getting beaten up was not what we needed.
That's true.
I think that was we need to see him being a hero more, and then you can do that kind of stuff. But I mean, I've heard some conflicting rumors about this, about like monkeys and social media and Lex Luthor doing whatever. It looks decent so far, so I'm not opposed to going to see it, but I'm going to be honest, like I'm not going to go to the theater until I've heard from some people that it's worth my time, because I'm just not willing to. And yes, it's not that expensive to go to theaters depending on which one you go to, but I'm just not going to get off my butt and go do that. If it's not like it needs to be better than this is just an okay movie. This needs to be a good movie. You need to sell me on it.
Yeah, it right now the movie looks like it has
potential.
It has potential. I kind of see it as it's going to come out as mid, but it really could be a good Superman movie. I don't know. I'm not sold on James Gunn being able to do a Superman movie. He can do those like get together movies, those group movies, like Guardians. Like obviously he can. Yeah. But I don't know if he can do Superman, and I'm not sold from these trailers that he definitely can do it. It's just that he kind of can do it.
The thing with Superman, go ahead, Master. After
I was going to say, I think it's interesting that like he's done a good job with something. So it's not like I don't think he couldn't make a good Superman, but like at the same time, you're mentioning, he does good team up movies, and I was going to bring up just that. Well, to be fair, this is kind of a team up movie still,
that is true.
In a lot of ways.
Very true. Yep.
And the thing is, it's hard to make Superman, right? It is very difficult because Superman is just so damn perfect in so many ways. Like he is, the only way that anything happens to him is if he's away from a yellow sun or you have kryptonite. Like outside of that, he just kind of fucks everybody up. Like it's not very difficult for him. So it's hard, I think, to get something super imaginative with him because it's all been played out. It's very difficult to do. So it's like, there's only so many ways you can go. So for me, I like the look that it's bright. I like that it's truth, justice, in the American way. Like I like these things. I do enjoy those. I mean, I think it's a mistake to lead off your universe with Superman because he is so hard to make. I feel like Batman is a better way to start your universe off.
I don't know.
Or go the Marvel route and don't pick any of your big ones.
I don't think you can go to Marvel route. Marvel went that route at a time where superhero movies weren't necessarily a big thing at all. Like people watched them, but they weren't blockbusters, right? Iron Man was a shot in the dark at that point. No one expected really Iron Man to be as big as it did become. So you're not in that same spot. Superhero movies are, for the most part, were tent poles for Hollywood for a good bit. So now you're sitting here where even in our chat right now, bringing
a
up
lot of people are
superhero
saying they won't go
fatigue.
watch it. They just read the
Exactly.
books.
So you can't, like, maybe if you did some under the radar, you could get really lucky, but it's not in that same time frame as Iron Man. So you're not in that same surprise spot. You kind of do need to make a really good Superman movie to have people understand that you know the DC universe, that you understand this universe, and you could actually fully flesh out a movie cinematic universe with these characters.
As long as the characters in it feel like that, and I think that's a big thing that Iron Man did well, that the original Spider-Mans did well, the X-Men did well, all those early movies, even if the stories weren't exactly comic book verbatim, they felt like things that the characters would do. They felt like those characters. So as long as Soups feels like Superman, and all the side characters are in there, Hawk Girl, Hawk Boy, like all the other people in
Guy
there.
Gardner seems true.
Guy Gardner seems true. As long as they're doing things and you're watching it and they're doing something that you think they would do in the comic, I feel like that's all we need. Like, comic book nerds are less picky than people think. We just need to let our characters that we think come to the screen the way I don't know. It's not hard, guys. This isn't freaking rocket science. So, Master of the TDS. So for you, is this kind of a wait and see? If you see it's good, you're going to go see it. If not, you're going to peel back and make fun of it.
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing is, people are like, "Oh, you're always so negative," and it's like, no, I care about these things. I care about DC. I care about Marvel, and if it's not good enough to sell me, I'm going to have some fun with it, just because I want to enjoy something, from it. So I'm going to make memes about Superman. I'm going to do whatever. Now, if it turns out to be good and they can sell me on it, I might give the next one the benefit of the doubt, like what comes down if they really do a good job. But like, let's imagine for a minute, like it comes out and it's okay. Like it's an okay movie. It's like, but there's so many of these now. We just get the same formula over and over, and they just go, "Oh, look," and I'm pointing fingers at Marvel more, but they're like, "Oh, look, this character you never cared about. We shoved them in the same mold that we've used for like 15 other characters you did care about. Would you like to watch this movie?" It's like, no.
And and I've been saying too, I think it's going to come back to the mean where superhero movies are just good movies, not great. Like we're getting a good movie, not a great movie, which is where superhero movies were pre, Iron Man, even pre, like X-Men and Spider-Man were big, but they weren't Marvel, they were Sony, right? We didn't look at them. They were Marvel characters, but they weren't a part of this big Marvel thing. But before that, like Blade was really good, but nobody freaking knew Blade was actually Marvel. They didn't market it as Marvel unless you were a comic book nerd. So it's like we see these things. I think superhero movies are going to go back to just being okay. And I'm fine with it. Just give me a romp.
And it's funny enough that you bring up using the same mold for all these characters that we've seen Master of TDS, because honestly, one of the people that you could probably blame a little bit for how that mold came to be, especially in Marvel movies, is James Gunn with Guardians. Because Guardians did so well, every single character is now a part of the Guardians crew, basically, in the way they're comic relief. They're never fucking serious. So like, and the fact that even Thor changed to the point where he's
so annoying,
cracking jokes all the time. He's Fat Thor, and every character is the same nauseating writing, and most people can't do it as well as Gunn can do in those movies. So it comes off really badly, and that's why people are tired of it.
That, and also, I think also not just the character mold, but also the formula for superhero movies in general. We don't get gritty, good superhero movies. We get oh no, here's a misunderstood person. They get powers. Oh no, they have a falling out. They meet bad guy. Bad guy good, but then he's bad. Bad guy and good guy fight. Good guy might die. Oh, wins. Oh, come for the next one.
And there's like no real
same
stakes.
Thing.
Yeah, and you can watch these movies and you don't feel any tension. There's no stakes here. Like and these are like universe destroying things. It's like, well, I know they're not going to actually do any damage, so who cares?
And you need to sell us on it. Like the thing is, people could argue, well, this formula was used for Iron Man. It was used for like the Avengers. And yes, but the difference was you sold me on the characters. You sold me on the characters first
Mhm.
and then built up the story. That's the biggest problem, is we're seeing these things like, oh, they're expecting it to be a universe. They're expecting it to be a thing. It was
Yep.
better when it was just like, we'll put this out there and it can be its own thing. But if it turns out good, we'll build off of that. You know, that's what you should do.
And tropes are okay as long as the tropes are done well and they feel fresh. And I think that's where they're not making the tropes feel fresh. So let's get to a few comments here because you guys are bumping and I appreciate it. Proctor File coming in saying it seems like the best sign of a quality movie is a lack of marketing. I'm often the only person in a theater for a good stuff that comes out, and it seems to be that way, right? A24
Sure.
comes out in a lot of silence. Maybe they do something and they're always solid. Blinded Journeyman saying, oh, thank goodness, not too late. No, you are not. Hello, Blinded Journeyman. Random Acts of Animation, I want to give you a shout out here. You make stop motion cutout cartoons like the OG South Park. Hopefully next cartoon will make some noise. I make fun of a lot of Star Wars in the new one. So Random Acts, go on X and tag us because I would love to help promote that because that seems freaking awesome. I want to watch it. John Coleman saying, hey, just want to say everyone won today. Karen Reed was found both innocent and guilty, and yet one side was crying, which is...
I didn't follow that trial at all, so I
saw
idea.
a little bit about her, but nothing crazy. Random Max saying, I almost got through the entire Thor and Love and Thunder movie. That you might be the only one. Nobody freaking watched that movie. That movie was terrible. Love movies like Logan, the Proctor File. That was amazing in so many ways. Yes.
Those movies. Where are those movies? We don't get them. Like, people showed up for Daredevil and Wolverine, and I'll be honest, it was a mediocre movie. Like, it was not that great. But the characters you already sold us on. Again, that's what I'm saying. It's like it did so much money, but not because of an amazing story. It was like you already sold us on Wolverine, you already sold us on Deadpool, you brought them together, and you weren't afraid to go R-rated. Like, where are we getting more of this? We're not.
Yes.
They're scared to do that.
And it's just like, I came out of Deadpool and Wolverine and I was like, I enjoyed it. I did, but I don't think it's better than, honestly, either of the other Deadpool movies, to be quite honest.
The other Deadpool movies were so much better. And
exactly.
I remember my wife and I were kind of reviewed it afterwards. We made a video about it and people were mad because we were like, it's an okay movie, but like it wasn't that good. Like we give it like it was maybe like a 60. Like it was decent because of it, you want to see Deadpool and Wolverine together and fighting, and that's cool. The rest of it was kind of like, what?
Exactly. It gave you those moments that you wanted to see, but as a movie itself, it's not something I'm gonna be like, oh, it's outstanding in the fact that how it is a movie. But it's like, I want to see Wesley Snipes in there. I want to see him say those types of things. I want to see Deadpool and Wolverine fight. I did. So I enjoyed those parts, but it's not something I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, it was outstanding. It was better than 1 and 2. It really wrapped everything up for Deadpool. Like, no, it didn't do that.
But that goes to show you that it's so sad that we've gotten to a point now where that used to be enough. It used to be enough where you could make a decent movie and then put like characters we were invested in and people would go see them. You can tell there's still remnants of it. But now they're like, oh no, Doomsday, quick, let's just throw in everybody. It's like, no, that's not how it works. No, you took the wrong example out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they haven't learned anything. So I'm curious though, have they learned to take the leftist slop out of it? Are we seeing that they are just like are they starting slowly? Because I think some of them have already been in production and they're going to put them out there anyway, right? Like Ironheart, like they can't. But do you think that, I'm not saying they learned a lesson, but their wallets have been a little bit lighter and they want to try to pad it again? That we're not going to see these heavy message shows in the next 3, 4, 5 years, movies, 3, 4, 5 years.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they've learned at all. I think they've become aware of certain things and they will try to market it differently. Like a good example is the live action Lilo and Stitch movie. It did well because it looked like the original. But the problem is if you watch it and you go, it's not the original. They changed a bunch of it. They still included this stuff and they're supposed to be going in a new different direction. And it's like, no, it's just the same thing, but you put a different skin on it. So look, I a lot of people say this and I echo them. I think it's very truthful. I think that we will see some changes it'll start like in the fringe outer edges of things and it'll slowly creep inward. But Disney is going to be the last one standing. Like they're not going to fold for anything.
And they don't have to, right? Because if they make $1 billion movie a year, that kind of funds all the other shit that they do.
Yes.
And it's pretty miserable. So, what is something that you are looking forward to? Have you enjoyed? You recommend in movies and TV right now?
It's a good question. I'm trying to think of any movies right now that I'm like, actually, I recommend, and it actually just recently got. My wife and I watch a lot more anime lately because it's much better.
Yes,
Even
you're with me.
mediocre anime is so much better
One
than
of us.
anything we're
One
watching.
of us.
But I would recommend, and again, people, it's a mixed bag. Some people say it's not that great, but I would recommend because it's actually recently become the most watched anime on Crunchyroll ever. Solo Leveling was really good. It wasn't an amazing story, but it was well animated. It was well done. It was entertaining. You
Did
could
it
sit
deserve
there and
anime
watch
of the
a whole
year?
episode and not like there are things like even I go back, like I was recently trying to go back and watch the original Netflix Daredevil after trying Daredevil Born Again.
Mhm.
And I'm watching it and I'm kind of like, I like this, but it's not enough for me anymore. Like I'm so burned out on it that it's like I can't just sit here and just binge watch a bunch of episodes of the old Daredevil. It's good. It's great. It was probably one of the best things Marvel put out there. But I'm like at this point where it's just like you have to like you got to give me something. You got to give me something like good. You got to pull me in with like the initial punch. And if you don't do that, I might be giving it another shot, but I'm just not. I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, so Solo Leveling, I would say, is very good. As far as games go, I'm actually going to shout out a game that I actually like. That is, I think it's being developed by was developed for a game jam, and the developer is still updating it. It's really good. It's called Look Outside. It's it's like an RPG kind of horror game thing, but it involves like looking outside and people mutating into crazy creatures, and there's like a whole story behind it. And it's actually quite well done. So.
You know, I don't play as many games. I look forward to watching people play games. So that is where I am. So I'm actually, I'd imagine I'll be watching the Melee Games channel, and James or Kay will be playing this game at some point because they play basically all the games that I want.
Just gift it to them. They'll be
Okay,
able to play it.
I'll be okay with this under one condition.
What?
Have you played Subnautica?
David hasn't.
I have.
Him.
Yeah.
I have watched him play. Now, David used to live
watching.
I didn't finish it.
I watched it too. I'm going to tell you something. Even if you're not a gamer, even if you're not whatever, I always tell people you need to play Subnautica because watching it is not enough. The first one, don't bother with Below Zero. Below Zero is below average.
Mm-hmm. Which is unfortunate.
But Subnautica, the original, play it for yourself. You will not be disappointed. It is one of the it's got moments of like terror, but it's such a beautiful, well put together game. It's an experience. It's not just playing a game to me.
See, it's interesting.
So
it's not that I'm not a gamer by proxy because my two children take up all my life and they do everything. And I just between podcasting, I do this, I do another show. It's like I don't have time to truly game, but I do enjoy it. Like I still, I pay attention. Obviously, I see your things and Nerdrotic, G&G, even though Nerdrotic isn't a gamer. He's the best gamer.
He's the best gamer
in the world, damn it.
He has his arch nemesis, the door.
Yes. Yeah, but I pay attention. I listen to side scrollers. Yeah. So there's all that. So I do love that. And we listen, anime is you're talking mine and David's realm there. We are both giant weebs and things in that nature.
I can't watch mainstream stuff anymore. I've tried. I gave Daredevil. Look, people are like, you never give Disney or Marvel a chance. Like I gave them a chance. I watched like 4 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, and it didn't hate it until it got to this point where there's this character basically getting arrested for caramel corn or whatever. And I was just like, what the heck am I watching? He's like, haha, you're blind. I'm like, I'm out of here.
I've been watching Andor because the little platoon was on the show, and we made the agreement that if I watch Andor, he'll watch Rebels because he never watched Rebels, and I really liked him.
Good luck for him.
I liked Rebels. Kanan Jarrus is one of my favorite Jedi.
Rebels wasn't terrible. It's just like again, like if you told me go watch Rebels now, no. Like I'm just not interested. It needs to be good. It's not a bad show by any means. It's just not an amazing show, and I got to the point where I'm spoiled. My palate now is like it's like I've had to deal with so much terrible food that I appreciate the food more. It's like you've made my palate like higher. You need to serve me awesome, and if you don't serve me awesome, I'm just not going to eat it.
Yes,
So a little anime aside, I feel like we're in a weird place with anime right now, though. Because Dave, did you see?
I do want
I
to
think Solo Leveling
start us out.
won
I really
Crunchyroll's
like
Anime of the Year, or the
really like
Anime
Crunchyroll.
Awards, one of them. Freerun won the other. So one of them won one of them won the
Yes.
other.
Yes.
And then Dragon Ball Daima won another one for Best Anime of the Year. So it's like, it's a weird spot because usually those types of shows sweep. Like when
Mhm.
Demon Slayer was good, Demon Slayer sweeps, Jujutsu Kaisen swept.
Yeah.
To see something not sweep, which is cool because I
And
think we're in a good spot because all
and they're
three are really good.
They're all different sensations you get from each one of those shows. I don't know if you've seen Freerun at all, Master, or Daima.
I hate Freerun.
You
Why?
hate
Oh
It's
no!
so
Why do you?
bad.
So, well, I want to hear. Why do you hate Freerun?
because it's look, for me, when it comes to shows and stuff, pacing is super important for me.
That's fair. It is,
And I
slow. It's
know
very
the
slow.
point of Freerun is meant to be slow and it's
Mhm.
meant to be whatever. Honestly, the biggest problem I had with it wasn't just the pacing. It was just like this it doesn't engage me. Like, I know the point of the show is supposed to go slow and show time passing, and I get all that. But it's just like it doesn't have to be like constant action, but you need to sell me on this. And I'm watching it, and it's like at a certain point, like we got to the point where like, oh, we're gonna go shopping, and it's like this feels like I'm watching like Desperate Housewives. Like, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, this
So
is
I'll
just
say
no.
this: if you want better pacing, the manga
I
does have
love
better
Freerun.
pacing in that sense. Because, like, honestly, like the little like shopping things are a panel, and you move on,
Mhm.
and the story goes. So the
I
pacing
hate
is better in the
that
manga.
bothered me so much. I was just watching it. I'm like, why am I watching anime characters go shopping? I
Yeah.
could do that. I don't want to do that.
It's fair. I think that's a fair
Yeah,
criticism of it.
it's
I'm
fair.
not.
Very fair.
It's good. I like it. I think it's
Mhm.
good, but it's a fair criticism. I accept it. So Dave,
do
what
Then
do
wanna-
you got here?
again, for me, I think top tier anime for me, and I'm maybe this is controversial to some people, but top tier anime for me, the first and only the first season of Rising of the Shield Hero, and after that,
Yeah.
the rest of it is trash.
Where's the first
first
season? End off?
season's
I don't.
really
I
good.
don't watch a lot. I read more, and I'd read a lot of Rising of the Shield Hero. Where's the first season end off?
The first season ends off is
Right
when
after
he.
Calmira,
Yes.
the
Okay.
second wave.
Okay.
The second wave, and it took such a different direction in season 2 that I didn't expect, and it's not in the way where like Vinland Saga goes in a different direction, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Rising of Shield Hero, I'm sticking with it because I'm hoping season 3 gets better.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it too. But to be fair, season 4 is I think what we're on now.
Oh, season 4, yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, like I was told that like season 2 was not going to be good because the books weren't good, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, fine. But like you see all these anime that they like go, you know what? We're just going to not care about the source material, and it usually sucks. But it's
Yes.
like this is one opportunity where if it didn't work well, fix it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity. The show is
And-
good. People want it. Take a little extra time. Bring in the original person who wrote it. Say, what
Mhm.
would you change to make this better? And fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That reminds me of my take on like Sword Art Online. I think Sword Art
Oh,
is like a fantastic starter anime up to the point where before it becomes what Gun Art Online, whatever the hell it becomes. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while. But
Season 1's the only good season of SAO for me. I
think it's
dislike
basically
season
the
2.
I think it's like the first half of the season.
Season
Yeah.
1 was good.
but-
Good. Season
yeah.
2 was okay. Season 3
Yeah.
was like, why are we still doing this? Please
Exactly.
do
See,
Like-
it.
season
Yes.
2, like Kirito became like the badass bitch, though. He was a bitch, but also badass. And I did not. Started watching it, and I'm like, I'm done here.
That's
Like
why I'm
outside
like-
of that, outside of listening to Lisa's intros, nothing is really redeeming about that.
Well,
Yeah.
well, wait. You gotta but the season 3 is where he loses his memory, and now he's
hate-
got to be rebuilt from the memory of his
Oh.
comrades. I think that amazing. He's just a cripple now.
Yeah,
God.
it's so fucking annoying. Yeah, but yeah, I often recommend as like one season, go watch that. You'll get into anime
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
That one, Attack on Titan, especially the first episode. Attack on
AOT is
Titan,
good until the
people
end.
usually want to watch it after that. So like
For me,
you
it
know,
was Bleach, which is actually kind
yes,
of funny.
Bleach is a great one.
Bleach is
Great.
great, and I know people hate the filler for it, but people out there remember, if you watch it now, sure, but if you were watching it back then when it was like first coming out, there was not as much easy access to the manga, so you were fairly ignorant, and Bleach was like everywhere. So I love Bleach, filler and all. I thought it was fun. The manga is great, except for the last. I hate the last arc. The arc that they were currently doing,
1,000 years?
I friggin' hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. It was unnecessary, but that's again, I'm just I complain.
Yeah, it's interesting how like we don't have to go. I do have Look Outside up, and I want to
I
talk
know
about
you
this.
do.
But I didn't realize it was Devolver, and I do like a bunch of Devolver games. So I
Well,
probably
you got to be careful with Devolver, unfortunately, now because they've already been in bed with Sweet Baby Inc. once.
that's
Oh
annoying.
no.
This
I-
doesn't look like it involves Sweet Baby.
It doesn't. No. I did research into this one. This guy made it as like a game jam kind of thing, and it
Okay.
took off, and so he made it more. But it's really well done. Like I got to give it props. Like
Mhm.
I haven't played it in a bit because I've been waiting for the next update before I like was going to restart it. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's really well done, and you think it would like bore you. But like, there's certain things you can do, like throwing certain things at people will make them
Yeah.
not fight you and become your ally instead. And then
Interesting.
it's really cool.
It's thought out. It looks really good. I'll probably have to grab this. I just wanted to show it. And I do want to say one quick thing about Subnautica, because I completely agree with you about Subnautica Master. Like you got to play that game to really experience it. Like when my friend and I were playing, and we were in the dunes, and in the dunes you can get a Reaper there. And
Yep.
we didn't know, like we kind of knew that, but we were just chilling, and then all of a sudden you just see the shadow of a Reaper above our fucking sea moth, and it's just like terrifying. It really captured horror in a game where it's not exactly a horror game, like there are aspects, but like it captured it perfectly in that moment.
Yeah, I have a special connection with Subnautica too because I actually played it in early access,
That's awesome.
and
Oh,
I
nice.
actually a while back, actually before the channel changed to what it is now, actually did some videos of Subnautica.
Very cool.
And had an unfortunate when I built my base where on a stretch of nice land on this new island that appeared, only to
Mhm.
find out that was the place that they were going to put the giant gun,
Oh
and
no.
logged back into the game and found my base stuck underneath the gun. That was
That's
fun.
incredible.
That's awful. Oh my god. That's
Yeah,
miserable.
that was literally the episode was just called "Everything Goes Wrong."
So I want to get to a few of these comments here. The Proctophile going, I platinumed Helldivers 2 earlier today. That took me 54 hours or somewhere around 3 to 5 seasons of a show, depending on episode length. Congratulations. That's freaking awesome. Good for you.
Keeps
Random
trying
acts
to
of
get me to
animation.
play Helldivers.
Well,
I
no, just go.
fell
Here's the thing.
off of
Piss them off.
Helldivers.
Just piss them off and just go play EDF. Just go play Earth Defense Force and just tell them you're playing Helldivers. But
I fell off of Helldivers, but I really enjoyed it when I played it. My friend also keeps trying to get me to play it, so I need to jump on at some point.
Random acts of animation. I'll be honest, I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to anime. Well, you could fix that. Just throwing that out there. You could fix that. And then there's also free manga readers we could talk to. Anyway, caveat ties coming in saying I guess I was assuming haven't done much anime, but I love the live action One Piece. Master of the TDS, what's your opinion on the live action One Piece?
So I actually can't. I like One Piece. I can't watch the anime because it's too slow for me. And
Sure.
I know that's just again. I said pacing is really important for me.
Mhm.
So I actually like the live action One Piece. I know it wasn't perfect. I know it took some liberties with certain things.
I think it
But
did
if
well.
it was a bit, the pacing was much better, so it let me enjoy it in a way that I wasn't able to, trying to just watch the anime because it was just a
Yeah.
little too slow.
Mhm.
So I enjoyed it. We'll have to see what they do with season 2. It seems like it looks okay, but
Chopper
if they,
looked good. I like the way Chopper looked.
I hope they do a decent job with it. I gotta say though, one of the biggest points that show that was great was the person I forget. I'm not gonna even try their names because whatever Inaki Godoy or whatever his name. I can't even pronounce his name. Who plays Luffy? That was a great casting.
Yes.
And the person who plays Buggy. Oh, that was a great
Was-
casting too.
Yes,
They were
yes.
all pretty damn good.
Yeah, and like like you said, there is some liberties. Alex, I have told Alex about some of the liberties that I didn't really like, but I think it did well. And Oda being there, Oda was going to be there. He basically gives up his family for One Piece. Like this
Yes.
is his thing. So, but Oda being there really helped it.
Mhm.
And he really tied things. You can see he's like thinking this is going to go on for a very long time as a live action because he's tying things in that you don't necessarily know about in the beginning of One Piece until you get to certain points. It's like, oh, that character is actually connected to this storyline that's like 5 years down the fucking road. So he's already tying those in. He was already tying those in this first season. And, it makes sense if you know the rest of it, but like
Mhm.
it's a little weird. And if you don't in the first season. But I don't know. I thought it did more than well enough as a live action, and I thought it probably brought a lot of people into watching the anime or
exactly, which is what people are like, well, I don't like it. It's like, well, it did what it was supposed to do. That's what it did.
And my thing is, it's like the people that don't like it are the ones that are like, it needs to be exactly like the anime or manga. And it's like, no, it doesn't, because it's too campy, it's too goofy, and it would look like shit on the screen. Go look at the Full Metal Alchemist one that they did when they tried to basically make Full Metal Alchemist exactly like the anime manga. It's
very different than Cowboy Bebop story-wise.
We don't talk about Cowboy Bebop. But there was no live action.
And the fact that Oda's involved makes me like, okay, this was his baby anyway. If he's making these changes, and I love the one with I always forget the guy's name, the pirate's name, but they turn it into a freaking horror.
Black Cat.
Black Cat, yes. Yeah. Where like they get rid of like a major plot where they're fighting on kind of like the beachhead,
the slope,
and everything. That whole thing is like chapters long, and it's a big part. But they get rid of that completely into just making it a horror film. Like a little, and it worked so well for the character. The character, everything was good. So I enjoyed it. Even the liberties they took, I was okay with it. Because number one, Oda was involved, and that's why it was so good. Why it was true-ish, and all the characters felt good. And the spots they needed to hit, I still have flashbacks of when Nami's freaking stabbing her arm, and Luffy grabs her hand, and it is perfect to every single panel scene and everything that they did there.
That was very good. But I will say this. The rest of the villagers not knowing what Nami is doing and actually being against her pisses me off. That is the one thing that actually really bothered me about that, because the whole relationship there matters a lot in that story arc. So for them to not actually know and actually be mad at Nami and not understand that she's doing this for them and they're lying on her behalf as well, and she doesn't know that, like, she's also being played as the person that plays everyone. So I that's the one thing that really pissed me off.
Take it up with Oda.
Yeah, I know, but it snapped in my mind. I was like, I have to let that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So overall, I'm looking forward to season 2, and I'm curious, like, are they even going to get to Baroque Works? Like, it looks
all
like
I know is that all I'm gonna say is don't ruin it. They always do it. They get a good first season and they go, how can we mess it up? And it's like, please don't do that.
So I will say this. They are doing another anime on Netflix from One Piece that is supposed to be like
they're
more
cutting
true.
the fillers out, and they're
cutting the fillers out. So
that I'm interested in.
So the pacing will probably be quicker. It'll probably be better. It'll be a little more snappy. So
I'm waiting for that. I'm hoping that I look forward to. But again, I just like when they always have a good thing. Like a best example I get to bring up, I think Altered Carbon. First season of that was great. Second season, oh god.
Well, The Witcher too. The Witcher is a good example. I'm a big Witcher fan. I've read 5 out of the 7 books right now.
I've read all of them, so
they're so good. But
except for Season of Storms, that one was weird.
Seasons of Storms is weird, but I mean,
the farting female guardsman was like, "What am I reading?"
I never read any of these, so that's out left field for me.
That's different. Actually in one of the books. You think that's something that Netflix decided on? It's like, did Netflix write this? Like,
but yeah, I think that's another good example where season 1 was a nice touch. It was pretty close to Last Wish in a lot of ways. It kept the spirit of it. Season 2 started to stray away from the second book a lot. Season 3 was nothing like any of the books or even the games or anything. And it was like, Yennefer's all powerful. And it's like, all right, go.
Aren't you excited for season 4 and 5?
They're actually going to do it with Liam Hemsworth. Why are they going to embarrass him?
Because they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed that their show's doing terrible.
I mean, didn't they get the hint with Wheel of Time? Like, get rid of it.
You think they get a hint with Blood Origin? They get a hint with Blood Origin. Like, I remember seeing the promos for it. It's like, why should you watch Blood Origin? It's like, because the first male kiss in the show, and then we have sign language. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh my god.
The fact that Henry Cavill had to be the one to say, like, look, Geralt would actually care about Roach dying. Like the fact that he had to be the one to sit there and say that and make that a thing shows how bad it was, honestly, the whole time, how it was going to always go off the rails. So, I mean, I can't believe, I didn't even know they were going season 4
I
and 5.
enjoy Henry Cavill's nerd crusade he's going on right now. It just seems like he's making every single nerdy movie he possibly can,
Well, we'll see
and
if
I'm here for it.
Warhammer actually happens.
Well, he's doing something. He's doing Voltron. He's doing Warhammer. It's like if
We'll see
Warhammer
if they
doesn't,
ever happen.
I mean, well, I hope they do. And here's the thing: I am happy that he's at least trying to be a true nerd and doing it and being with it, because more power to him. We need more nerds that are based like him and are defending the fans, right? When he's like, "Oh, they're gatekeeping," he's like, "No, I just think that they like their product and they want it to be what it is." So, a few more comments here. Proctofile saying, "What are you talking about, Master? There's only one season of Rising of the Shield Hero."
Yeah, sorry. What was I thinking?
What were we
What was
all
your
thinking?
favorite dreams?
Jesus Christmas. It's like what you call it, Forgotten Neverland. That
Promise
one.
Neverland.
Promise Neverland. I always say Forgotten because I forgot it existed.
Yet again,
Season 2 is so bad.
First season of that, absolutely fantastic. You can introduce someone to that and be like, "Hey, you like dramas? Watch this."
So Proctofile saying, "Do a coward, you won't." And I don't know if this was to
for
be.
Helldivers.
Yeah.
I'm saying Earth Defense Force. Do EDF instead and just really piss everybody off.
You misunderstand. I have never played Helldivers. I have
Good,
never
just
played
don't
those
do it.
games.
Just
I have
stick to
no
it.
interest in those games.
But I think that the best troll would be is because you have no interest playing the one that the Helldivers
Just dying
copied.
to bugs
You know,
every time.
Helldivers copied off of essentially. So, what you call it? They have a nice conversation about Silent Voice. No, I have not seen Silent
I haven't
Voice.
seen it. I'll give
No.
it. I'll give it a watch.
I added it to our list, Proctofile. We have a list now. I've started making a list. I've actually made a list.
Yeah, good.
Don't
good.
talk about lists. What are you doing? You're gonna get. I've made.
Oh
a
my
list.
god! Sorry. If any former Kotaku journalists are watching, I did not mean it that way. Please stop. I'm a cartoon. I only have Monopoly money. Don't sue me.
Listen, she'll some way figure out a way to just blame it on Smash JT anyway, so we're safe because
Really?
it's just
No,
those two.
you misunderstand. The only time she ever appeared in his chat was when I was there.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so bizarre that she decided. She is. You know what? Go wait
I'm
tables,
mad.
honey. That's all I gotta say. Enjoy your tables. Do well at it. Enjoy. Anyway, so I want to jump into gaming right now.
Sure.
Because there's always a lot to talk about gaming. We were just talking about journos, right? A former journo.
Part of me brought up journos because I just wanted to share these videos. And I think it actually makes a point, though, because, games journalists have it's been a while now since games journalists have just gotten absolutely beaten down because of how terrible they are. Especially, all of Gamergate happening, the infamous Cuphead video where the guy can't even get past the tutorial.
I love watching that and laughing. It's so funny.
Exactly. It's embarrassing. And the fact that games journalists are now being compared to DSP really shows how low they've fallen. They were already pretty bad reputation-wise, very bad reputation-wise.
I'll have to give DSP some credit, though.
Oh.
He at least begs for money blatantly. He doesn't write crap and then ask for money. So at least the content is somewhat entertaining. So I'll give it that. It's so bad, it's good.
It's an inverse entertainment. Like if you're gonna watch any Phil, it's a clip channel or it's raw Phil. It's not his actual channel. It's never his actual channel.
Yeah, you just watch the casino and enjoy him being roasted by the casino.
I do enjoy the casino.
So what do you got here, Dave? What is this, game journals?
Yeah, we could play it. I wasn't even going to play the full thing. I just wanted to bring it up because these videos are all over the place. It's basically mini This Is How You Don't Plays. Because, the This Is How You Don't Plays on Metal Gear is basically one of the things that popped off with DSP a long time ago. But, these are just mini ones of him being terrible at shit.
Oh, that's fair. Car drives right into me. Misses all of them, but drives directly into me. I'm not. Wait! I wasn't in first! How am I supposed to come back now? The game blatantly cheated.
Like I said, we don't have to get very far into this. It's just these videos are going everywhere. It's not just Mario Kart World. It's Elden Ring Night Rain. It's everything. And I think it's highly entertaining. You can watch these videos for a while. But like I said, I wanted to tie this in because the fact that games journalists are in the headline for all of these, literally every single one is games journalist does whatever with game badly with the game, is, like I said, very, very bad reputation. I mean, they already dig their hole deep enough, but my goodness, the fact that Zoomers are doing this too, it's just no one cares about them.
So, quick question for you, Master. When was the last time that you read a gaming journalist article that you're actually interested in their opinion about a game?
Hmm.
That's
Thinking.
It's
No,
bad, right?
I'm actually giving it a think. I'm thinking.
I probably have to go back to like Game Informer, like the actual like finger,
I'll
like
be
a
honest.
copy of
I
Game
don't think
Informer.
I've ever read an article with their wanting to. It's like, oh, I'd like to know how to do this in the game. Please tell me how to do this. Oh, your things about how much you hate controllers because it has too many holes in it. Now I'll just pass.
yeah.
I mean, I think I got more out of game trailers when game trailers was a thing and they used to like do their reviews and stuff like that or their previews. I used to actually enjoy those decently because then you got to see some gameplay, you got to see some stuff, and they used to dig down deep, and then they started to suck too and went away. And I mean, it's such a weird industry too, because again, we see from this, most of them don't even play, which I think is why so many people have gravitated to the streamer, right? Because the streamer's not only going on and doing a show like this, they're going on and you're watching them play the games. And if they suck at it, they're out front and being like, hey, I'm terrible at these games. I'm playing it for you guys because
Oh,
you guys, you know what I mean? But
I mean, the good amount of them, not all of them, but
some of them,
yeah.
but so I mean, this is such a weird place, and I'm happy that they're all dying. That they're all
Oh, dying
slowly
out, dying out, dying out.
well,
There's
not
lots
dying
of
as people,
phrasing
but
there.
but
Yeah.
the companies are dying. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
okay.
making lists, things are dying. We're fucked on this channel. We are done. So speaking of, you use the phrase dying here, Dave. Is AAA going away? Are we going to see the end of AAA soon?
Going
Quote
away.
unquote. That's to you, Master of the TDS. Are we
Oh,
gonna
I thought
see
you
the
said
end?
specifically Dave, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Oh no,
sorry.
Dave, screw you, Master of the TDS. Are we seeing AAA
Okay.
going away?
So I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say it's because, look, even though the prices are being increased, and I know people are having issues with it. And look, I'm not a console gamer. I'm more into PC. But you see these people complaining about consoles. I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody, but like you see them complaining about, oh, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. And then they have it they have it day one. Until that mentality changes, it will not die. Because if you really have a problem with it, and again, I want to make very clear, not pointing any fingers at anybody, not trying to say, oh, you're bad if you do this, but until that attitude dies, AAA will never die because there will be people who are always there to buy it, no matter how much they complain about it.
Yeah. I'll do a little bit of the finger point. I'm not finger pointing exactly, but the pretty famous one that he came out and made a video apologizing about buying a goddamn Switch 2 is Mudahar because he said he wasn't going to buy it. So like, I'm not going to say he's a bad person for buying it. I don't really care. Like we've made this statement. I don't really care if you buy the Switch 2 or you buy the $80 games. Like
I plan on buying it if it comes on sale in Christmas, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll come on sale sometime.
If it does, I probably.
But at one of the things that just like if you're going to be hypocritical about it is I think that's the bigger issue in some of these things. And but like you said, if there's a market for it, of course they're going to price these things these ways. Why wouldn't you price it higher if people are going to buy it? Like it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, we're going to put this out. It's going to sell extremely well. All right, let's bump it up a little bit. Still sells extremely well. Okay, cool with me. So
that's what I'm saying. I think the AAA game mentality is the biggest reason why AAA will not die.
Yeah.
But I think that when they push too far, which will happen eventually,
100%.
they will
100%.
hit too far.
100%.
That's when it will all come crumbling down like a house of cards.
I even think that they're still already it's already getting there because Borderlands 4 had to come out and be like, no, it's actually not $80, it's $70. And like they got absolutely destroyed. But
the point I'm saying though is as long as there are people who will still buy it, they will still do it. Like, don't be surprised if like Borderlands 5 is that price. They might like backtrack a little bit, but then they'll kind of come back. And I just think until we see the mentality of, hey, stop just buying it. If you don't want it and you don't want them to do it, don't give them money for it. Like, don't do it.
Yeah. And I'm a PC gamer as well, so I think now is the best time to invest in a PC. It's actually going to be it's going to be a bit more money than a console, but I think it's worth it in the long run. So, but it's not anywhere near as like high barrier to entry as it was like a while ago. Like it's very easy to get a gaming PC
accessible
and run basically everything.
And I think it's actually like, I think, I go on the Stuttering Craig mantra where as long as you realize you're a hypocrite, like you can criticize all you want. And, I understand people that are like, especially if you have kids, right? Like it is tough. If you're doing it solo, maybe, but if you have kids and your kids like these things, it's hard to sit there and be like, we've had the PlayStations this whole time. If there's games you want on the PlayStation 5, which I guess there's no exclusive, so it's not as big of a deal. But,
it's the wrong console to bring that up about.
But you know what I mean? But I was just using it as an example. It's like, you're going to get those for your kids. And I mean, I've complained about the price of the Switch 2, but am I probably going to get the Switch 2? More than likely. I'm part of the problem. I know it. But it's like, I think you can do two things at once. You could be
like 5 videos about how much you hate it, and then
I think you could be critical of something and then go out and begrudgingly get it right.
But there's a difference between I made a video saying I hate this and then I went and got it versus I made like 18 videos saying I hate this and then I went and bought it and then I still make videos about how I hate it. It's like, okay, but then you bought it. You're the problem.
Yeah.
I think the big issue with Nintendo is that the games that they're releasing with it are their like most expensive games, and that they waited a little bit too long to come out and say like, hey, our games are generally still going to be $60. Like these were just some of the games, but it's like they made that problem. That was a big problem.
Has always been a bitch of a company. Like they're very, very antagonistic about things. It was a long time before you could even play Nintendo games on YouTube. Like they would just strike you, like they would copyright and they would fuck you up. You couldn't do a let's play of a game. Like it was insane. But Nintendo has very, very warranted dislike from a lot of people, and I completely understand it. But they came out, they didn't even put the prices in the direct about the Switch 2, which people already were like, "Oh, what's going on?"
It makes sense. Yeah.
And then it's people do not want to see their games bumped up to $80. That's just what it is. Honestly. People didn't want to see their games bumped up to $70, even $60.
And I just like the people justifying it via inflation. Like it used to be this. Like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. This is still an expensive thing, inflation or not. So it's like, I don't give me that. So did anybody watch the Direct this morning? Because I didn't get a chance to watch a Nintendo Direct. Dave, Master, did you guys watch it?
Nope.
No. I've heard some things about it. And, I'll probably listen to Side Scrollers tomorrow to get like the actual investment in what happened. But it's one of those things too. It's like, I'm not as into the space as I used to be. I get my new secondhand. I don't go and play as many games. And it was really Battlefront 2 that kind of murdered me. Battlefront 2 being sold as half a game, and then you had to buy the second half basically, and loot boxes, and the whole thing just made me not want to play as much. So, but I still pay attention. I still enjoy gaming, and I still like talking about it. And speaking of it, you brought up how like the West is floundering in so many creative ways, and I think gaming is right there as well. What the hell is going on where the Eastern games are now, especially like Chinese games, are kicking the shit out of everybody?
Well,
so
compare it to anime. We talked about anime, but we're compared to anime. They make better stuff. That's just purely what it is. They're not going to make a story and say, how could we put agenda into this? They're going to make a good story, and then they're going to sell it as a good story, and they're going to listen to the people that buy their stuff. It's so crazy to me that we live in a world now where people will make a game. People are like, hey, I don't like this. Please don't do this. We don't like this. And they'll go, oh, you want more of this? We'll do more. It's like these people are, it's like literally going to a place and saying, I'd like to order a plain pizza. They're like, oh, put extra pepperoni on it? It's like, no, I hate pepperoni. Oh, so you want the entire pizza covered in pepperoni? It's like, no, I don't want that. Please don't give it to me.
You actually have it a little wrong. It's actually, why are you so close-minded about this? Don't be a bigot. Pepperoni is great. Here, have more. That's actually, they add the insult.
And then, wait. And then you go, fine, I'm going across the street to go get a plain one. They go, oh, look at that. That only sells well because it's appealing to the the male gaze. And it's
Yeah.
like, what the heck? Just like stop. We've done this for years already. Just stop. Like, if you're gonna do it and you don't like it, you can not like it, but
Yeah.
own it. Don't pretend that there's this, oh, it's only a thing now. It's like, no, it's always been a thing. People have always liked looking at attractive characters. They've always liked playing games with them. It's okay. If you don't like it, you're allowed to not like it. You know, like, people forget, like, my wife and I, Orthodox Jewish, you know, like, we're more modern. So we're doing things with, like, I'm not trying to throw people in my community under the bus or anything, but, like, it's not a widely, like, people who don't go out of their way to buy things to like look at pretty women or whatever. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm not gonna, that's not gonna be something that I take into account when I look into a game. Do I think that that's a bad thing if someone else does? No. Like, I don't care. Like, have fun, enjoy, you know?
I also think the thing that a lot of them miss the point intentionally, right, is that in these games that have like Stellar Blade, where they have a well put together woman and things like that, the men are also hulking monsters too. Like, they are physical
Most of the time in these games,
beasts
yeah.
in these types of games too. So it's like, it's men want to look at dudes that they want to aspire to be. Like, they want to look at those heroes, and a hero is going to be that in shape, hulking, muscles bursting type of guy, right? Not the, you know, every once in a while you throw in like the unsuspecting skinny person that can be real strong, or the uber fat guy that can run fast, right? Like, those are
JoJo
fun
from
tropes on the
Part 3.
inside, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, typically, it's like, even with the women, you still want to see women in decent shape when they're in the game,
Yeah,
like, right?
exactly.
Like, you know, they might not have to have like anime boobs or things like that, or like be like perfect, but it's like, you still want to see them at least in good shape. So when they're sitting there climbing buildings, punching things and things like that, it's semi-believable. They're muscular.
Exactly.
They're,
It needs
they're,
to
in-
be,
they're-
it
yeah,
needs to be believable.
in a
It
way.
needs
Yeah.
appealing to people. And
Mhm.
as a therapist, I can also weigh in on this and say, you know, people want to see a version of their best self.
Yes.
What they aspire to be.
Don't
Yeah.
want to see a person who looks exactly like them. There's this whole illusion of, well, they have to see it to be able to identify with it. No, they don't. It has been disproven multiple times. You
Yeah.
keep pushing this. We need it. Okay, fine. Okay, let's work with the logic. Okay, so I'm white, so that means I can't see myself in any black characters. So I'm really glad that recently they decided to make the Black Panther white, because
so
now
bad.
I forgot about
as the Black Panther, right? Isn't that true? So you cannot tell me I'm a bigot now
Bombay.
because I like that, because I can't see myself in it otherwise. Isn't it about time that white people, the minority in Wakanda, can see themselves as the majority? Wow.
And, you know, by default, I'm supposed to hate the Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern because he's a black military guy. So you know what? I dislike that because I have Hispanic heritage. And where is my Spanish Green Lantern? Damn it.
Yeah. And that argument already fell apart like the minute you make it, because so many people identify with just non-human things in stories all the fucking time. So you don't need to see yourself. You don't need to see yourself as a
You're a furry if you like Rocket Raccoon.
To be able to relate.
My favorite cell phone was Rachel Ziegler, when she posted about how she was going to be Snow White, right? And whatever. And everybody hated it. And then she posted a picture of her as a young girl wearing Snow White. And it's like, oh, so you could see yourself as Snow White without her looking like you when you were a child? Wow. It's almost like that doesn't make any sense otherwise.
And how many girls saw themselves as Ariel when they're obviously not a fucking mermaid, right? It's like, this isn't hard, guys. Like, you just, if something is cool, we will want to be like it. That's the bottom line. Like, wrestlers, right? Like, people want to be, if you like wrestling, you aspire to be like some of these wrestlers. The Rock is Samoan. You had a lot of different races that wanted to be exactly like The Rock.
White boys had goddamn cornrows when Allen Iverson was playing in the NBA.
Oh my God, yes.
Like they look they were dressing like AI all the damn time, and I loved AI too. So like that's the thing. Like it's a farcical argument. It's insanity, and the fact that it passed completely, and people not only believed it, but believed it to an absurdity where they had to put it in everything is, I mean, it's just what drove everyone off.
What'd I do?
What are you doing?
I don't know. I pressed the button. Leave me alone. I don't do this well. But yeah,
I
no,
just think it's
bad.
so sad though. We also have this thing now where it's like, oh, you can't play a character in a show, even if it's like animated show,
Yeah.
if you're not the character. It's like, no. Like, stop. Literally, the
I
purpose of acting is to act.
Yes. And I don't know ScarJo's, political leanings. I imagine she's probably on the left, but the way she just stands up for herself as an actress when she was going to play the trans character and people were like, no. And she was like, fuck off. I'm an actress. If I choose to play a role and act, I will. Like, I appreciate actors and actresses that do that. That's like, no, like the representation argument has always been lost. It's a bad argument. It's one that we shouldn't fight with anybody. The moment they bring it up, it's just, David, you're famous for this and you love this. A simple, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And don't even say anything else. Just, no, you're wrong. Because there is nothing to be said. That's a terrible argument. Nobody needs to see themselves in anything. I don't see myself in Schindler's List. Like, okay, like, but I love it. Schindler's List is a great movie. I could never be as good as that person. And I don't see myself as anybody he saved. Doesn't stop me from enjoying it. So,
I will tell people what I always say. If you want to see yourself in something and you need to see yourself in something, here's an easy fix, okay? Get a hand mirror, hold it up next to whatever you're watching, and voila, problem solved. You're welcome.
Create something well in your image.
I don't know. It's really bothersome to me when people make that argument and they genuinely believe it, because to me, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to the fact that you can't read a story or watch something and just relate. It's very, very weird to me that you can't just watch something and say, I just relate. Now a lot of these people are very
the same group that yells about empathy can't relate to something else that doesn't look exactly like them. It's
exactly. And one of the things I want to point out I can't help it when I have a point to make as a therapist.
No, it's fine.
You see these people who go, well, I can't see myself. Let's say there's genuinely someone out there who's like, I can't see myself in things unless it looks like me. Then that tells you something about yourself, not what you're watching.
Yes. That is narcissistic personality disorder. Is that correct, therapist?
Well, it depends on the circumstances. Yes, it can be.
I love that. I love the, I'm getting schooled here and I deserve it. So a few comments here.
No, I have to be careful because also as a professional, you don't want to diagnose things or make wide-sweeping statements.
But you're a professional VTuber right now. You're not the professional therapist at the
Well,
moment.
to be fair, my avatar is not that.
That's PNG, right? Yeah.
All right, so random acts of animation coming in saying, as a casual gamer, mostly because I'm a casual gamer, mostly because I don't have time or extra funds to waste. I'm there as well. The Proctophile saying Stellar Boy was made by a Korean devs at Shift Up. Yeah. I mean, still Eastern. I said Chinese, but
even
it's
with Chinese devs, the Hoyoverse, like Genshin, GZZ, Honkai Star, like those are fucking huge.
John Coleman saying, the male gaze. Yes. all the gays. Caveat Ty saying,
you gotta play the other comment from him. That
I will get to it, okay? Caveat Ty saying the women should look like Alyssa Mercanti. I mean, there was a time where
say her name 3 times, she'll appear.
Honestly, let's do it. Get it? Alyssa Mercanti, Cunty. Anyway.
I like that he was told to repent in the chat.
Just when I got rid of her creeping behind me. Yeah, I actually had her doing that for a while.
There's actually some photos of her years ago that she actually looks like a female and she's not ugly. I go by a scale. The only scale I live by is a 0 to 1 scale. Would I or wouldn't I? And she's like 0.5. She's borderline. Few drinks, we're in. Anyway.
I'm not here. I'm not talking about her. She's not here. I'm not here.
That's former. That is former. That's years ago. Current, -5. Anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just got back here. I went out for
The Proctophile saying Samoan Panther when? Could you see Roman Reigns just in like a jacksuit as like the Black Panther? That actually be pretty awesome. John Coleman coming in saying Alex wants to be a mermaid. Y'all heard it here. Yes. I want to be a merman. Okay. Give me Triton's thing. The trident. I'll be fucking lightning up people.
But here's a cool idea. What if you're a merman that identifies as a merlady?
Would I have to put shells on my tits then?
And then you can, yes. Then you can race against the other mermaids.
Oh my God. All right. So last thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about you, Master of the TDS. You've done some really cool deep dives. I think favorite is not a good way to put it because most of them have been painful. But what have been some of the ones that you've, in essence, enjoyed at least exposing and doing the work to get out there?
So I would say that the one about the French government and we did one about them doing like self-serving grants.
Yes.
That one was fun because it took a lot of work, but it was fun. The one about the sexiest podcast.
Oh my God, I
Whoa.
forgot about that. I blanked that from my fucking
People
mind. I
forget
forgot
that
was
we
a
were the
thing.
ones who did that. We were the
Yes,
ones who
yes.
revealed that.
Oh
Oh
man,
my
Oh,
goodness.
Master, you can't escape it.
Yeah, that's a
Alyssa,
That's
crazy
what
name.
she
Honestly.
posted in Smash's chat. So
Alyssa's gonorrheic snatch. I have appeared.
You know,
Fight
say that.
me.
I forgot about.
We need to
sexy
have Vera
podcast.
just
Oh
needs to
my
come in the
God.
chat now and challenge her to a fight again so that she could deny it and not fight Vera.
Well,
because
she threw out the challenge first. Vera accepted.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, she threw out the challenge, Vera accepted, and then she was like, "I won't do it on that." And then
no, she
Keemstar
said it
would've
was a
been great on
joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, it's a
apparently.
joke. Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
joke. It was
It's
a
a joke
joke.
fight, guys. It's a prank fight.
But yeah,
Brandon-
so the French one, the sexiest podcast one was
Yes,
funny.
yes.
And I did like the most recent one that we did. I really felt like it was kind of the magnum opus. We could have done a better job with it. I think that we did like 4 script revisions with it, so it didn't come out exactly the way we wanted it to. So some people didn't like it. So we did like a follow-up, like a thing to just kind of clarify a little more, and people still didn't like it. But I keep spreading this around. I cannot give any more details, so don't ask any questions. I cannot explain it or give you any information. But I have been reached out to, and it has been confirmed that Terry Huberts is 100% the same Terrence Jason Huberts, and it's from reliable sources. So believe me or don't, but we know for a fact that not only was that like a speculation, it was 100% correct.
I love it. I love it. So, so how much work goes into putting this? Because again, the script writing, doing it, getting the timing right with the videos. On an average deep dive, how many hours of work would you say you put in?
Depends on the one. That for example, the sexiest podcast one, I'm surprised no one found out about it because it's literally super easy to find. So that one took like no time at all. But in regards to like the ones with the French government one, I'm pretty sure took about a month to get done and just get the research together. The last one that we did, which was about digging into stuff, that probably took about a month, maybe a little over a month. But it can take, it's not like a day or a week or whatever. It takes a while. Like it's not even just the research. It's getting the stuff together, recording it, putting it together, making sure it shows the right things, making sure it doesn't have the wrong things in it, making sure you get a good thumbnail, making sure you do all this kind of stuff, like normal YouTube stuff on top of the research. But
yes,
I think the longest one that took me the longest to do, I'm trying to think of which one. I'd say the French government one was probably the longest. It didn't get as much attention as it probably should have.
Which is the way YouTube works, right? The ones you think are going to get the most, they don't.
Hey, I got to use Sacre Bleu on a thumbnail. And that was a life goal for me, just like a bucket list check. Like, so I'll take it. And I gave Baby Ink like an ascot and like a little mustache, and so I'll take it. But like that one probably took the longest. It would probably, I would say 3 months, maybe. I'm pretty good when I have the time and can get like into it. I kind of do pretty well. But again, keep in mind when I said like a month, we're not talking about like straight every day for a month. We're talking about like in the course of a month, like I've got to do research whenever I get the chance, provided I have a job and other things to do as well, on top of things. So, but it can take a while. I would say if I tried to add up the amount of hours, I don't know. It would probably be a lot.
Have you found more of a target on your back since you have now gotten some notoriety?
Oh yes.
Popularity?
Oh boy. They really don't like us very much. And you know what the funniest thing is that they can't disprove it. they'll get mad. They're like, we hate you. Your avatar looks funny. It's like, okay, but how about anything that or whatever? Like, again, a former Kotaku journalist who we will not name got mad and said that we make quote unquote brain dead investigations, which I found funny, which by the way, I love that I can play these people because they're not very intelligent. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm like, I'll be pleasant to them so they respond more and they'll tell me more information about what they're doing.
Oh
So
God.
telling me I have brain dead investigations, which means you've watched them, but never had anything to critique about them because you couldn't, tells me a lot more than you ever could. I know. So like, hate my avatar, don't like how I look, get mad that I'm a therapist, but like you can't disprove anything I'm saying. So I know I'm doing the right thing.
And I can imagine that goes a lot into it too, right? To make sure that the facts that you're presenting, the way you're trying to present it is fairly airtight and ironclad so that there can't be much pushback unless that's something else that's dug up that you didn't see or didn't dig up gets brought to light, which they never do. Like, I'd imagine that's a big part, like looking it over, fine-toothing it, making sure, and kind of, I guess, imagine like trying to disprove yourself at every chance so that you can get it right.
I tried. There were so many stories. I have a story that's huge. It's probably as big, if not worse, than the Sexiest Podcast. Okay.
Oh,
I have been sitting on it for a while because I can only prove it 90%. I cannot prove it 100%, and I will not run with it if I can't. We ran with the last one because it was interesting questions, and we tried to make it more speculative, which I guess some people didn't necessarily like. But it was an experiment. We've been experimenting because people kind of, no offense to people who do this, but like people will take. We cover, and they'll run with it, and they'll get a ton more views than us. And it's like that's fine.
Yep, that's it.
But like we're trying to reframe it and appeal it a certain way, so we kind of wanted to get that information out there. But this story, potential to be huge, can't prove it, will not run with it. Just won't do it. So, like I'm not going to do it.
So you're not a gaming journalist then?
No, I won't do it. I won't do it. It's just as much as I want to. It would be huge. It would be huge. I already have a title in my head. I already know exactly what I would do. It's right absolutely. It is probably even more damning. We're at the same level as like the last one we did, but I can't do it. So
is this the type of thing where you're tempted to like hand it off to somebody who would do it? And just to get it out there, like to hand it off to somebody who maybe would do this just because
I've thought about it, but honestly, again, like I'm not going to do it. Like if I cannot prove it 100%, I'm not going to put it out there. And like there have been things that we put out there, with information that we've been able to prove, and that's what we did. Like the French government one didn't start out the way it did. It started out with a different story, and we disproved it. So we're like, okay, there's nothing here then, I guess. We did a little more, like, okay, there is something here, but it's not the same story. Reframe it, redo the script, we're not going to run with it just because we can. Like, it's just not, I'm not going to do that. So
that's very fair.
You obviously put on a ton of hard work. Do you feel like all the work that you're doing and doing these things and presenting it in the way that you guys are doing it, is it having an impact? Is it helping win the war against the leftists and kind of pushing the leftist ideology and things like that out of all the spaces? It will never be fully gone, but at least making it so that it's not
oppressive,
as prominent and oppressive and gatekeeping as it has been.
I think yes, but I think that I cannot take full responsibility for that. I think it's a combination of, because I have to give a shout out. There are so many people out there who take the work that I do and will like translate it into like Italian, into whatever. I can't do that. Awesome. I don't speak Italian. I can't do that. So it's a combination effort of all these people working together to get this word out there. And people will get mad. They'll go, why are you doing this? Why are you putting out posts about CBB Inc. being involved with the Wu-Tang game? Why are you doing whatever? You think it's woke? And it's like, no, I don't think it's woke. I think this. I think that as gamers, as people, we deserve to know who is behind our projects. If I'm going to give money to a game and I'm going to endorse it, I deserve to know who's behind it. For example, there are people out there who have said terrible things in politics, whatever. Fine. If that's not brought into their game, I can separate. But if it's brought into their game, I'm not playing their game. If it's brought into the movie, I'm not watching their movie.
Exactly.
We need to know this information. It's only fair as I said, I like to say, change is not going to come about with just people screaming at each other. It's going to come about with more exposure, transparency, and respectful discussions. And I can't say who necessarily, but there have been people out there who you would be surprised who have reached out to me and had respectful discussions with me. And, hey, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with what you're saying. I think your video here is wrong, but you know what? I think you're coming from a good place. I think you actually care. There are so many more of those people. That's where we're going to see the change. That's what's going to eventually cause the biggest amount of change. Because screaming at each other, if it worked up until this point, we would have already seen it happen. And it just doesn't. It ends up coming to a head and people get hurt.
The thing that sucks is we need more of those people to come out into the sunlight and not just do it in a DM, right? Is to just come out and, maybe leave that comment on the video. Like, hey, and people know who this person is, right? Probably like disagree with you, but I'm willing to see where you're coming from and the work that you're doing and blah, blah, blah. Like we need to see more of that because there used to be a time where you could be a fan of someone and then they do something you dislike and you don't you're gone. It's, hey, I don't agree with this, but I do like X, Y, and Z. See you on the next one, right? We need to get to a point where these people take it out of the DMs because we've heard so many people in, I guess we'll call them like the collective of people on the right, where they are saying things and they will talk about, I have had X, Y, and Z, or I've had people reach out to me DMs and things like that. And it's like, we need to get those people to come out into the light and be brave enough to come out into the light, which is hard, right? Because then they get piled on if they do. So
yeah, and I'll be honest, like I really want that too, but at the same time, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I think it's impossible for them to do it right now. We're not at a space for that. Because I'm sorry, these people and I'm going to be honest, there are people on our side who take things too far. 100%.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's on their side or our side. There are people who take things too far and bring family into it and bring children into it. And I don't blame them for being private. Hell, I would want to do the same thing. I wish it was different. I hope for that eventually we'll get to a point where we can do that again. But I can't really blame them. I can go, I wish it was different, but you can't risk your family, your kids. You can't do that.
And I will say this, it's kind of like we got to disown the people on quote unquote our side that do that, right? The ones on our side that take it too far need to be either checked and basically brought to heel in that sense, right? Like don't do this shit, or get out of our space, right? Like make sure that anyone with any sort of clout excommunicates people, because we got to start shaming again, right? Like I don't care how much we agree on certain things. If you're an absolute psycho, we don't agree on that. And there's certain lines that we should make sure that we don't cross. And I feel like policing your own is a good way to do it. And I think we should start doing those things as well. Because here's the thing, if I say crazy shit, check me. I'm fine with that,
Yep, and I will say we shouldn't reward people who go out of their way to instigate things, and we also shouldn't reward people who take content that doesn't belong to them. And I'm not saying that people who cover us. That's not what I'm saying.
That's different.
The person who I'm directing this to knows the you shouldn't take content that doesn't belong to you and frame it as yours. And then when you do, and we blow up because of it, just not treat me very nicely. That would be bad.
That's been such a thing too, where people are just good at stealing and not giving credit. And we see that all the time. Social media has made it massive. I mean, I'll call it out right here in the political space. Ian Miles Chong sucks. Ian Miles Chong constantly fucking takes people's stuff and makes it his own and gets called out and then tries to fight. Like he sucks. Like I'll have Ian on the show just to tell him he sucks. Like I'd be fine with that. Like he's awful. I'd have him on the show because he's awful. Like that's someone I would have on the show too. He's my dark side Phil of the right. He sucks. But things like that.
I hope we'll see change. That's all I'm saying. I'm hoping that, I think that the people we need to go ahead, I think that what we want is we need to reach the majority of people is not on our side. They're not on the other side. They're in the middle. They are not part of this. And you know what? You can get involved. It doesn't matter how big of a channel you have. It does not matter. You have a voice. I tell people all the time that I've done this before. I've seen people who are covering Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, and I'll pop up in their chat and they'll freak out. And I'm not there for me. I'm there because I want them to think, hey, you know what? You never know who's listening. You may have
Mhm.
one viewer who is that one viewer.
Mhm.
You know, you don't know.
And the thing is, it's like we do what we do because we just enjoy talking to interesting people, right? And it's like it's always cool when it's someone like you who I've seen your work, I've admired your work, agrees to come on the show. And we've had a bunch of people like that, like all the G&G guys that have graced us and come on. And we can just go down the list of people in politics. And it's like I'm doing it and I'm doing this, and our channel is not large by any means, but we have a really good chat going right now. A good amount of that is people that you have brought, but we have some people I see here like Random Max, Caveat Ties, Nate G, a bunch of people that are here almost every single one of our shows, and we appreciate every single one of them. We hope to get some crossover from your people. If you like what you see from any of Master of TDS's fans, make sure you give us a follow and stuff like that. We'd appreciate it. But, you know, it's just our channel's small. And I'm okay with it because I enjoy speaking my mind. I enjoy that people like yourself, like, you know, I was pumped when I was like, hey, you know, I've heard of you guys. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet that you've heard of us because we've been a fan of yours. So, I mean, I think doing things like this, having these shows consistently, doing these things where people are doing it and bringing it to light and talking about it is eventually going to make change and help. And I do want to just acknowledge real quick, Proctofile going disown. I don't know about going that far, but there's nothing wrong with correcting or criticizing anyone that does something wrong, especially when you're on the same quote unquote side. So the only caveat I'll give with that is it's okay if they're criticizing or trying to correct, but if they refuse to acknowledge what they're doing is wrong, if they continue to do that act and they show no reasoning of wanting to continue to be on your side, then that's something you can't have with you because that's a stain on the movement, right? And it's easy pickings, easy target for the whole movement to be represented by the wrong people. So yeah, I think like Nick Fuentes is a good example. People put him on the right. Nick Fuentes is a piece of shit. Nobody should like Nick Fuentes, okay? Like, period. So he's a person to disown. The Groypers, gone. So it's like, and I have no problem saying that. So I feel like that's, you know, there's something like tough love. And there's not saying like, if they come back and they're like, hey, I was a douche, I saw what I did was wrong, and they show it, come back in the fold. Cool. We're open. But I think there's got to be some of that. So that's where I feel.
You're saying basically there's got to be lines
Yeah.
drawn where we tolerate it to a certain point, and if it's like I'm going to do this maliciously on purpose over and over and make at a certain point you don't have. I would say you don't have to like publicly disown them necessarily. It depends on the circumstance of what they're doing. But I think that cutting ties when it's just like I can think of someone who comes to mind, but I'm not going to name. But like sometimes when people show their true colors, you do have to cut them off, not because you want to, or not even because they're bad people. It's because the behavior is not okay.
The only thing that drives me crazy is too.
So I kind of get where you're coming from, but I also I agree with the Proctor. I think maybe disown's too strong of a word. I think that has a strong connotation, but I like the idea of cutting people off. You do not have to allow people to quote unquote leech off of you or leech off of something that you built or are trying to build. If they've repeatedly crossed a line, you need to cut them off before they grow too big and they grow too invested into what.
And I also think like, you know, internet has very weird rules, especially with people that watch certain people. And, you know, in normal life, like people just like nothing even has to happen that's wrong. Like people just grow apart sometimes. Yeah. And like if you like stream with someone a whole bunch and you talk to them a whole bunch, but then, you know, like you just kind of go off in different ways. Like everyone's always asking like what happened, what went wrong. It's a very okay and normal thing to happen. So it's, you know, there's a whole lot to talk about, like, you know, when people go too far and stuff like that. And like, obviously, you know, you make your own rules, you have your own boundaries, dude. Like everyone should just decide what they want to do with certain things. You can make that decision.
On top of that, I feel like we have to be careful too, because, you know, I know Master of the TDS, you were talking about maybe like messaging someone, right? But then there's that internet culture of if you're good faith messaging and they still don't care, they're very happy to take a screenshot and put it up and try to take a DM, like private things that you, and then they make a whole video. Like, say you reached out to somebody who had done you wrong and you're trying to good faith it, and they're just an asshole. Master of the TDS coming into my DMs and pleading with me to stop because he's scared, and boom, whole video, the grift continues. So it's like, the internet has made some of this not
Yeah,
worth
at
it.
a certain point when you've reached out good
Yeah.
faith multiple times
Yes.
and tried to listen to both people, you know, you do have to cut off. But I think we also have to be careful, because I think it's not just important that you cut off; it's the
Yes.
way you
Yes.
cut off.
Yes. Yes.
That's the
Yes.
most important
Very.
thing.
So
Yes.
with that being said, Master of the TDS, thank you so much for coming on. This was a ton of fun, man.
We can get to some
Of course.
comments real quick.
Oh, you would?
because
We
missed
have
a
some
whole
more?
bunch.
What did I
Yes.
miss? Go ahead.
Well, you missed a whole bunch.
Do it.
Because you never asked this, Master. How'd you make the
Oh,
avatar? It's pretty
sorry.
cool to see it lip sync while you talk. I gotta try that.
So it actually doesn't lip sync while I talk, which is actually what's funny. It doesn't actually. What we have is we use a thing called a VideoTube Mini, and we use OBS. And VideoTube Mini has a thing where it has different, like you can put animations for blinking, you can put animations for speaking, but you can use GIFs as the
Okay.
mouth. So we found a mouth that works for us, and we set it to a certain length, and we have it loop. So whenever
It's
I
just
speak,
moving.
it just
Yeah.
loops
Interesting.
over and over, instead of just otherwise what you would see is it just would be mouth
Mhm.
open,
Mhm.
mouth closed, mouth open, mouth closed. So, but it has most of those settings
cool.
in there, and it's not that difficult to do, because I'll be honest, I'm not very good with this
fair.
kind of stuff. So, the fact that I've been able to do any
I mean,
of this
it's
is pretty good.
it's
It's
very
solid.
good for just going on a show, actually having some life to it.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a Mexican Master.
Some people in our Discord decided to make put a sombrero and mustache on me for some
I love
reason.
that.
I absolutely love that. Yeah. John, I see Mexican Master likes rabbit chicken tacos. Apparently,
Sounds good.
Random Max saying he's feeling like his George Mucus short would have gone viral, but alas, the YouTube gods frown upon me.
Yep. Happens that way.
Let me see real quick. Not enough chocolate jokes for James, so we got to be working on that.
Yeah, we have a running joke about chocolate on
Yeah,
our channel.
we gotta work on that.
I like chocolate.
John said he found very interesting pictures in a video of Fuentes. I mean, I can only imagine.
Not suitable for YouTube.
Yeah. On OBS, that's awesome. Yeah. But that's basically that's basically all of them.
That's it.
That's good.
So yeah, once again, Master of the TDS, thank you so much for coming on. We had a blast. Yeah,
thanks for having
you're
me.
awesome. We'd love to have you on again in the future. Especially if you're, obviously you're doing more of your deep dives. We're probably gonna talk about them as they jump in. And if you would be so kind, everybody, go over to Gothic Therapy and make sure that you subscribe there, like David is about to do.
I already am. It's
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
paying.
saying. Okay. But make sure everybody subscribes there and go there and show some love if you want to get access to the deep dives right away as they're released and any other videos, because, I'll say it for Master of the TDS. He has become and is one of the more important people in jumping into this, and a person that people look for when he releases something, when something's on Gothic Therapy that is a deep dive. People take the time to go and watch it, pay attention to see what they can learn, and talk about it. So thank you for what you do, Master of the TDS. You're freaking awesome.
I try, but as I always say, it's a team effort. It's not just me. It's me and other people picking it up and willing to speak. So as I always will say, it doesn't matter how big or small you are. You have a voice, and your voice can reach high. It doesn't matter how many numbers you have next to your subscribe count or anything. Your voice can reach farther than you think.
I love it.
So.
I love it. But while you're on this show, damn it, we give you the credit. Anyway, so
I won't fight you on it. I'm just saying.
So again, everyone go subscribe there. Everyone, please also make your way over to our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe to us as well. We're hoping that we get some crossover from you Master of the TDS people. But you know what, though? If you were one-offs and you just came to hang out with Master of the TDS, that's okay, too. We appreciate you being here. Whether you're watching from Rumble, Kick, Facebook, YouTube, X, whatever, please do the due diligence of following and all that good stuff. If you're listening to this later via podcast form, give us 5 stars, follow right over there, and we will be back next week. I will be back. David's going to go back to doing his weird work schedule thing, but I'll be back next week with another guest. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. So long, y'all.